A shocking culture of five-star junketing among senior staff at Scotland's crisis-hit exams body is exposed by the Sunday Mail today. Our investigation found officials at the Scottish Qualifications Authority charged the taxpayer as much as £800 a night for hotel stays on overseas trips. The staff also routinely fly business class when they go abroad, with four-figure sums often spent on air travel. In one example, a 90-minute flight in the Middle East was charged by SQA head of international Alistair Shaw at £1,200, a journey generally available for £200. Politicians yesterday called for an investigation into practices and spending at the Quango. The expenses scandal is revealed as Scottish pupils face a summer of chaos, with exam papers potentially going unmarked due to possible strike action by staff unhappy with SQA management. Alistair Shaw has been on luxury trips at taxpayers' expense. Image, Internet unknown. The expensive trips are part of efforts by the Quango to sell qualifications and exams to other governments. We uncovered the lavish spending under Freedom of Information laws following tip-offs from whistleblowers. One insider said, "The management spends so much time going around the world selling Scottish education, they don't realise how big a joke it has become here." The irony is they're selling SQA courses to countries who have long taken over Scotland's former position as an education powerhouse. Shaw, who has spent 181 days in the last 3 years abroad, has a taxpayer-funded hotel bill since 2016 that runs to more than £34,000. Last May, he visited a hotel in Qingdao, China, where he spent £1,624 on a two-night stay. Read more using a travel website. Last week we were able to book a luxury hotel room with a swimming pool in the Chinese city for just £103 a night. A month after his trip to the Far East, the former assistant principal of James Watt College booked a hotel room in Dubai for 2 nights, which cost the taxpayer nearly £1,500. Other bills for Shaw included a £2,000 5-night stay in Oman in 2017 and a £484 a night 3-day trip to Bangladesh in 2018. His flight costs for the last 3 years run to £141,000, with 2/3 of them involving business class travel. On one trip last year, the SQA flew him business class to Mexico City at a cost of £8,400. Outgoing SQA Chief Executive Dr. Janet Brown, image, copyright unknown. The foreign junkets also include outgoing Chief Executive Dr. Janet Brown, who is to stand down this year when a successor is appointed. Brown, who joined the SQA in 2007, has overseen a difficult period for the exam body. Unions have criticized the introduction of qualifications as well as internal restructuring under her watch. A ballot in February by the Unite Union found 96% of members no longer had any confidence in SQA management. Their proposed strike could happen this summer, plunging exam marking into chaos. Brown, 68, has cost the SQA nearly £10,000 on hotel bills on overseas trips in the last 3 years. The 14 trips, spanning 47 nights, include 9 to Beijing, which has some of the highest education standards in the world. Just weeks after the ballot, she flew to the Chinese city and ran up a hotel bill for £1,572 for 5 nights. The SQA refused to reveal what hotels the officials had stayed in for security reasons. All of Brown's flights were business class. In the last year, just 2 return flights to Beijing and Sri Lanka cost the taxpayer nearly £7,000. The SQA's latest accounts show Brown is paid between £180,000 and £185,000 a year. Biggest SQA hotel bills named destination cost 8 nights Robert Quinn Beijing £1,223 March 20, 2017 5 John McMorris Vancouver £1,245 March 30, 2016 6 Janet Brown Beijing £1,388 March 19, 2018 5 Alistair Shaw Dubai £1,449 and 99 pence June 18, 2018 2 Alistair Shaw Bangladesh £1,452 and 99 pence February 18, 2018 3 Janet Brown Beijing £1,572 March 17, 2019 6 Alistair Shaw Qingdao £1,624.92 May 16, 2018 to Alistair Shaw USA £1,633.75 April 27, 2018 7 John McMorris Orlando £1,701 February 19, 2016 5 Alistair Shaw Oman £2,001.77 October 22, 2017 5 Other senior staff who travel the world for the SQA include Director of Qualifications Development Dr. Gil Stewart and Head of Marketing Stuart McLaren. Stewart received an £86,000 pension contribution in 2017-18 on top of her £95,000 to £100,000 basic salary, taking her total pay close to Brown's figure. In March 2017, 5 SQA bosses ran up a hotel bill of nearly £5,000 in Beijing. The officials were there, among other business, to attend a black tie event with the Chinese government. Robert Quinn, the SQA's head of humanities, arts and business, ran up a hotel bill for the 5-night stay of £1,223. Months later, he and his boss, Brown, were appearing in front of MSPs to explain the SQA's own dire performance. The Scottish Parliament's Education and Skills Committee warned of problems at the exam body. The SQA was told to make urgent improvements after teachers told the committee of excessive and unclear guidance, complex administration and mistakes in exam papers. In 2016, the Scottish Association of Geography Teachers described the higher exam as poor, shocking, terrible, worst ever and nothing like the specimen or previous paper. The SQA also admitted a series of mistakes in the National 5 Computing Science exam. And in 2015, the pass mark for higher maths was dropped to 34%, with 60% for an A grade. The SQA later admitted the exam had been too hard. Yesterday, politicians called for a probe into the Quango's spending. Willie Rennie, Scottish Liberal Democrat leader, said, "There should be a thorough investigation into these costs. No one would expect these important officials to live in a tent or travel by bus when doing the work of the SQA abroad, but these costs seem very high." Read more. People will ask why it's necessary to spend so much on hotels and business class travel. Labour's Shadow Education Minister Ian Gray said, with some SQA staff reduced to balloting for strike action, these revelations are embarrassing. Senior management clearly do not believe in stinting on their own conditions at work. John Swinney needs to get them to focus on settling the current dispute before exam marking is jeopardized instead of jetting around the world. Scottish Greens education spokesman Ross Greer said, like most people, MSPs travel standard class when we have to fly. If that's apparently not good enough for SQA execs, I look forward to asking them to explain why the next time they are in front of Parliament. Alistair Shaw of SQA in China, image, unknown. Scottish Conservative Shadow Education Secretary Liz Smith said, an organisation like the SQA will always have cause to travel to different places to share examples of good practice. However, the public will be skeptical about the sheer expense of all these trips. The scandal comes amid an educational crisis in Scotland, with our international standing lower than ever. In 2016, our schools recorded their worst performance in an international survey of pupils. Scotland's scores for maths, reading and science all declined in the latest set of Programme for International Student Assessment figures. It was the first time since the tests began in 2000 that all 3 subject areas were classed as average, with none above average. Education Secretary John Swinney promised radical reform to sort out the education system, but it continues to be blinded by problems. Read more top news stories today. The SQA employs around 750 people and has an annual budget of about £85 million. The body said around £6 million of that came from its international work. A spokesman for the SQA defended their foreign trips. He said, SQA works in a range of countries across the world supporting the Scottish Government's international engagement agenda. This international activity has a number of benefits such as supporting the development of qualifications and qualifications frameworks in emerging nations, reinforcing the value of Scottish education in the global arena and encouraging shared learning. All of this work and associated costs are why recoverable and make a contribution which is reinvested into Scotland's education and skills system. Using the Scottish Government's booking service contract helps us to achieve the lowest costs for travel and accommodation. Exams in Scotland got underway last Thursday and run until May 31. Let's block ads. Why?